What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back in the Desolation map. And we're in the Ghetto. I thought it was time for a change of pace, guys. We've been in the nightlife part of town for so long that I'm starting to get like a little weary. And I was growing weary. So now we're back in the Ghetto. And we're back here because of a suggestion from one of my viewers. That's right, Matthew L. said, Bean, please can you do another chest filling episode? It's been a while since you've done one. You are right, Matthew L. I have just neglected filling chests. It's kind of a chore, okay? It's a little bit of a chore, so that's why I've kind of put it off and put it off and put it off. But I want to make an announcement. I want to tell you guys, my loyal community, that I'm going to get more dedicated to filling chests, because what I want to do is I want to fill up the whole Ghetto with lootable stuff. And then I want to invite my friend IBX Toy Cat over here for a little GTA mode. We played with him in the past, and he's a really fun guy. I really respect what he does in the YouTube scene, so I want him to come play. And I don't feel right about having him come play if I haven't at least filled the Ghetto up with stuff. All right, so I'm going to be making a more concerted effort to fill up the Ghetto stuff so that we can get IBX Toy Cat here, because he's gonna love this. Trust me, guys. Everyone who's ever played GTA mode has fallen in love. No one said anything bad about it. Right? Except for the people who spent 4 hours looting stuff and then die and then lose it all to somebody who betrayed them. Oops, that's not my problem though. Okay, that's not my problem. What you guys do with your time on GTA mode. Anyway, I'm gonna be putting stuff in chests, and I'm gonna be filling up the entire Palms Ghetto apartment complex. And I start off with the good stuff. I start off hiding the good stuff, so close your eyes. Okay, just close your eyes, you don't need to see this part, right? And I start off hiding the good stuff, then I go back and I start hiding the not so good stuff, and then I'll go back again sometimes and hide the just junk. But yeah, I'm going to finish the Palms apartment complex today, and we're going to talk about something, because today is Monday, and Monday is the part of the series that I love the most. It's Creative Question of the Week time, where I answer questions from you, the community, that you put in the comment section below. This week, we didn't have too many questions. I guess, I answered my own question last week, so you guys are like, forget this guy. If he's going to answer his own questions, what's the point? No, but there was a few good questions, and I just hope you guys remember to leave your questions in the comment section below. I know not every week's going to be, a ton of questions, but make sure that your voice is heard, okay? Anyway, so I got a good question in here from Bruh It's Pop Style. And he says, do you think that the moon landing was fake? And do you think that the earth is flat? Explain your thoughts. All right, Bruh's Pop Style. Thank you for that question. I really do appreciate it. Right now, guys, go leave a question. All right, so the moon landing. Ooh, I have a lot of thoughts on this, guys. You're going to want to hear me out on this. Don't change the channel, okay? Just hear me out. Not trying to change minds. I feel like I say this disclaimer every time. Not trying to change minds. I'm just trying to get you to think from a different angle. There used to be a time when I thought NASA was awesome. When I thought NASA knew what it was doing. It was on the forefront of technology. It was creating new technologies that are advancing the human race. They're exploring the edge of the known universe. And I thought they should have all the funding in the world, But then I opened my third eye. I became, for lack of a better word, psychic. And once you do that, you start to notice deception easier. Deception is just like something that you start to really feel, rather than, you don't have to even know why or how. You just know when something's off. And NASA is a deception, intentionally meant to fool the people. Now, as far as the moon landing, yes, I believe the United States went to the moon and landed on the moon. A lot of people think that it was staged in a sound lot, and because there's a lot of proof to that. They actually hired Stanley Kubrick, the director of 2001: A Space Odyssey, to film the moon landing, to be the director of the television broadcast for the moon landing. So a lot of people speculate that they were just going to do it like a movie and then present it to the American people, because it was a reason to because they wanted to make the Russians race them to the moon, because then they thought it would bankrupt Russia, But I don't think that's true. I think that's true, that part of it. But I think the United States actually went to the moon. And I think they hired Stanley Kubrick. And I thought there was probably a lot of footage of the moon landing faked in case that they failed. I think the United States was very smart, and they really tried to go to the moon, and they had some backups in case it didn't work out, so that they could bankrupt the Russians and stick it to the Russians' face. So I think that we went to the moon, absolutely. I mean, there's moon rocks. I think we went there, and we did what we did, and we came back, and we had some backup footage just in case it didn't work out, or if someone died, we could just replace that with footage of everything going well, because there was a lot riding on the space race back in those days. And if you studied it, you know that it was a huge moment in time, and politically especially, between the United States and Russia. So there was a lot riding on the space race, and so yes, I think we went to the moon. As far as the Earth being flat, I don't think the Earth is flat. I don't know what these flat Earth people are going on about. I honestly don't really know the specifics of this theory, but no, the Earth is a globe. Okay, every celestial body out there is in a globe shape, so I don't see why Earth would be any different. I mean, you can ride a plane around the Earth. I don't think that would be possible if it was flat. So no, I don't think that is true, but I want to talk about the NASA deception. NASA is intentionally hiding a lot of information from us. A lot of information. And again, this goes in with, I know this because of my third eye's open, because here's proof that NASA is pulling our legs. Okay? Every so often, you hear NASA come out with this discovery. Oh, we've discovered, this just happened recently. We've discovered a whole bunch of habitable planets that are, pretty close. Planets that we think can support life. And they're very excited because, that means there must be extraterrestrial life, or the possibility of extraterrestrial life outside of this planet, because we found a planet that's similar to Earth. It's ridiculous when you think about it. Why is anyone assuming that life can only exist on conditions similar to Earth? That is a huge assumption. And no scientist that was actually trying to discover truth rather than trying to manipulate the people would ever think that was the requirement for life, was Earth, was oxygen and water. I mean, life exists wherever life exists. And I think that's the first indication that NASA's pulling our legs. They keep trying to hide the existence of extraterrestrials by making us think inside the box. By making us think that, extraterrestrials could only live on a planet just like Earth. No, of course not. First of all, okay, we're getting into some crazy ground here, but first of all, we've adapted to this Earth, and that's why life here lives here. Life forms on other planets adapt to that planet, and those are the conditions that life is existing in. But the bigger misnomer here is that humans are looking for extraterrestrial life only in the visible human light spectrum. Humans can only see 0.00001% of the light spectrum. Our technology maybe a little bit more, a tiny bit more. Our technology can see a tiny, wee bit more than the human eye can see. Yet we know that the human eye can see an infinitesimally small fraction of the light spectrum of everything that there is. So NASA's got us thinking that the only type of extraterrestrial life is life that's just like us, that lives on a planet, that lives in physicality. When the truth is, there are trillions, what's more than trillion, gazillion of different types of life forms in this galaxy. Okay? And some of them do live in physical 3D reality like we do, where things have substance, like, where the wall pushes back on you, right? There's a few races of extraterrestrials that live in the third dimension, but the vast majority of extraterrestrials live in a higher dimensional frequency than we can perceive with our eyeballs. And this goes into the whole psychic thing. Is once you start opening your your perception to wider ranges of frequency using your third eye, using your psychic ability, you start to see that there are extraterrestrials everywhere. Okay, they're all around us. Some of them, yes, do they can control little bits of what dimension that they are existing in, and that's why you get these a lot of abduction stories of people saying, oh, they saw gray aliens and they were taken to their ship and stuff like that. It's because these entities can kind of shift their vibrational plane of existence a little bit so that they can interact with us on our level. But for the most part, they exist on the higher vibrational frequencies, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and higher dimensions, right? So they're not physical in the way that we are physical. And NASA is intentionally trying to not bring this up. They're trying their hardest to not bring this up by forcing all these new discoveries that are just nonsense. Right? It's nonsense that life has to exist on a planet just like Earth. It's absolutely nonsense. It's a deception. It's intentional. They don't want you to know what NASA knows. NASA is just it's a cover. I mean, the government, the shadow government, the government behind NASA knows all there is to know. Okay, we've encountered and interacted with extraterrestrial species since the 50s at least. But I mean, going back to humanity, extraterrestrials have been a part of humanity since the beginning. Since the beginning. And you just have to look at the pyramids. You have to look at ancient stories. Basically, all these ancient gods, all the gods that we have ever perceived, a lot of them are simply extraterrestrials that manage to shift their vibrational frequency to the third dimension. So, I know this is over a lot of your heads, okay? I know this is not making any sense, and that's okay, that's fine. For some of you, I think it might make a little sense, and you're starting to see that extraterrestrials and what people call ghosts and astral beings, they exist on the 4th dimension and higher. And that's why people report gray aliens being able to go through walls yet still being physical, because they're shifting their vibrational frequency, and they're able to do that. And as a human, you can do that too. You can shift your vibrational frequency to the 4th dimension, at least your consciousness. You're not going to be able to shift your body, but you can shift your consciousness to the 4th dimension and actually interact with all these 4th dimensional entities. That's why people can speak with the dead. That's why people can remote view and see things that in places they've never been before. I don't want to get into the realm of possibilities once you open up your third eye, once you start becoming psychic, because that could be people write books about these things. Okay, I'm no expert. Okay, I'm just getting started in all this. And yes, I've interacted with extraterrestrials. Yes, I do it on an almost daily basis. No, they're not scary. Some of them are very scary, but you don't have to interact with anyone you don't want to interact with. And I think I'm getting into very weird territory for some of you guys, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. NASA is covering up the truth. The whole point of NASA is to cover up the truth, because if too many people knew, first of all, there'd be hysteria. Second of all, people would stop trusting their governments. And they don't want that. They don't want that at all. So they're not going to let the truth out. And that's why they created NASA, so that they can siphon out all these little tiny discoveries that subtly shift the way that you think about the universe you live in. The universe you live in is not what you are told. That is the main thing I want to say today. The universe that you live in is not what you're told. And if you want to learn more, I encourage you to ask the right questions. Not to me, but to yourself, right? And then you will eventually come to answers that contradict everything you've been told about the nature of reality. It's crazy. But it's crazy in a good way. So I think we're going to leave it at that. I know I've opened up a whole can of worms by talking about this, but I'm just being honest, guys. Just being honest. Speaking the truth that is true for me. And that's all I can really talk about. So there it is. All right, that's what I think about NASA. They can go shove it, right? All right, well, that's the episode for today. We got out there. We dove deep. We went into the outer rim. But I love it. I love this part of the series. So keep those questions coming. And I will keep putting stuff in chests. And we'll get Toy Cat here. and we will see if he enjoys it. Alright guys, that's going to be the episode for me today. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.